Jai Gurudev, everybody. So, in this series of spiritual explorations that we are doing since last 4-5 days now, having explored the purpose of life, to the purpose of relationships, to the purpose of money, to understanding the intricacies of cause and effect, the karma phal. Today we are going to explore one of the final most topics of the truths of life, the topic of Moksha, Nirvana, liberation, salvation, whatever you want to call it. In the spiritual domain, there are two prevalent interpretations of this extraordinary stage that a soul reaches eventually. One interpretation is that the need of the soul to come back to the body, when that need is dropped, when the soul doesn't necessarily wish to come back into the body again after having dropped one, that stage of maturity of the intelligence of the soul is what is called moksha. And let me explain it a little bit. Please understand this from the reference of your own life. You will see any individual soul from morning to night, day after day after day, in this flow of life, whatever activity they are doing, you will see what is the basic purpose behind it. Why are they doing whatever they are doing? You will see the most honest answer would be they want to be happy. They want to be full. They want to experience that contentment. They want to experience still, peaceful oneness with the divine. That's the whole game. Now, in that process, those who have not experienced the higher truths and higher energy levels and higher bliss that is available through sadhana, satsang and seva. You know what I mean is, in the previous videos we have spoken a little bit about this. There are three directions you seek joy from. First is the outer world direction, where people, situations or things, how much ever you gather them, there is no guarantee of satisfaction and joy and completeness within. That is why that section is called the tamasic sukha, the play of maya. The second direction is of seeking pleasures from the five senses: watching, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching. These five senses give you very limited amount of pleasure, and as soon as that pinnacle, that limit is reached, it starts draining your consciousness. It starts draining your energy. It drops your level of awareness. Your ananda, your pleasantness is dropped. Your whole level of experience of life takes a big hit. And the third direction, which I call is the sattvic sukha, is the direction where first you have to put a little effort and then unlimited amount of joy and exhilaration of energy and bliss. Wherever you want to reach, you are able to reach That level of joy is available through sadhana, satsang and seva, the sattvic sukhas. Now what happens is, in this process of life, there is a very interesting, almost like a rule, a principle on which the life functions. As you experience higher sukhas, higher pleasures, higher joy, higher bliss, your interest in the lower happiness, lower pleasure activities, that interest very naturally fades away. You don't need to deliberately do anything for it. Look at the experience of this lifetime alone. When you were 10 years of age in this body, what used to interest you? What used to, you used to look for joy in which activities at the age of 10? But when you became 15 years of age, your whole interest changed. Now, the joy that you were going to get from the activities when you were 10 years of age, that was so real at that time. But when you became 15, all those joys suddenly became so lackluster. So you don't find any interest in them anymore. Why? Because the nature is such. Once you get an experience that is higher, stronger, more intense, your interest in lesser joy, lesser energy activities, that naturally diminishes. Exactly same way, look at your own life. Once you get an experience that is through Sudarshan Kriya, through meditation, the sadhana, or through satsang, what beauty and joy and celebration happens in satsang. That amount of joy, that kind of celebration, if it is a part of your life, then the joy that you used to get through the five senses, your interest in that pleasure very naturally fades away. Something that used to interest you so much before suddenly starts becoming lackluster for you. Going to parties, going in friends, and drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes, all that becomes so lackluster, so uninteresting for you. My point is, as the higher joy, higher truth is experienced, your interest in the lesser joy, lesser truths will diminish. In that process, those who have not ever got the experience of sadhana, satsang and seva, for them, what is the highest sukh available is through the five senses. So, when the body is dropped, the soul wants to come back to the body very intensely, desperately, is because once this body is dropped, the five sensory pleasures are no more there with the soul. It wants to go back to the body and experience those five sensory pleasures. But those matured, intelligent, refined souls who have got this treasure of sadhana, satsang and seva, they don't need the body. And on the contrary, what happens is, along with lesser joys connected with the body and the five senses, there are so many activities that you are having to do because you have the body. If you ask yourself, are you really interested in those activities that you are having to do because you have to take care of this body? You will see many activities are so uninteresting, but you are continuously having to do them. I'm saying, when the higher experience of sadhana, satsang, seva becomes a part of your life, a stage comes where getting the body is no more a joy On the contrary, it is more of a hassle to take care of daily chores. You ask people, ask mothers, are they so interested and so joyful about cooking food every day, 3 times a day? Those who go for jobs and businesses, ask them, are they so interested in going for jobs every day, 9 to 5? Nobody wants to go do all these things, but you have to do them because you have the body, you have to take care of so many things. Vyavahar, Vyavasai, the family chores and the profession chores. So many activities we are having to do because we have the body, and yet it doesn't give you anything in return. When that deeper, higher truth dawns in your consciousness, a natural stage comes where the soul decides, once this body is dropped, I will never come back to the body again. That stage of maturity of intelligence of the soul, that stage is called the stage of moksha. Kabir, a very learned poet of contemporary India, he expresses this so beautifully. He says, "Bhala hua meri matki futi, मैं तो पनिया भरन से छूटी." I am so happy that my pot is broken. I don't need to go and fetch water anymore. There is one more interpretation of moksha, nirvana, which is much higher, much deeper, much closer to the divine. Let me explain that to you. You know, if you look at the experience of your own life, you can segregate all your experiences in these 3 categories. Please listen to it carefully. The first experience of your life, you know, in moment to moment, this flow of life is going on. Sometimes, in some moments, you have this experience called Deha Bhav, the body consciousness, where this soul experiences as if I am the body. Let me give you an example. When you say I am taking shower, you are saying I am taking shower. The soul is saying I am taking shower, but what is it referring to? Is the physical body. In those moments, actually the experience for the soul is that I am the body. When the soul says I have pain in my knees, the soul is saying I have pain in my knees, but what is it referring to? Is the physical body. When somebody says I am eating food, you are saying I am eating food, but you are referring to the physical body again. My point here is, when the soul experiences that I am the body, it's called the body consciousness, or in Sanskrit language it is called Deha Bhava. Experiencing bodiness, I would say. The second level of experience, when the soul experiences its soulness, is called Jiva Bhava. The soul in those moments actually experiences that I am the soul. Now, this second category, the soulness, soul experiencing soulness, is called the Jiva Bhav. There are many experiences of this category, which I will explain later. The third category of experiences is called the Atma Bhav, when the soul experiences its universal nature, its is expanded Brahmanness. Very rarely you might get that kind of experience where you actually feel your consciousness has expanded so much, you become the Brahman, you become the universe, you feel as if you are that infinite being. That's called the Atma Bhav. Now, the experience of the soul of being the Deha Bhav, the being the body, is such a shallow, such a mediocre experience. I don't need to describe it too much. But when the soul experiences soulness, the Jiva Bhava, there are 7 experiences that unfold in the consciousness when the soul experiences Jiva Bhava. These 7 experiences are Sukh, Dukh, Rag, Dvesh, Sangat, Chetana and Dhruti. These are all Sanskrit terms. If you really want to explore life, all the scriptures written in the Sanskrit language, they have given treasures and treasures of exploration of the deepest and the highest truths of life. If you really want to explore divinity, I feel Sanskrit is the language to study. And through the Vedas, through Upanishads, through beautiful scriptures like Yog Vashishta and Ashtavakra Gita and Narad Bhakti Sutra and Patanjali Yoga Sutras, all these, the deepest secrets of life are explored. Now, I'm coming back to the experience of the soul, experiencing soulness, Jiva Bhav. There are 7 experiences. Sukha, pleasant experience. Dukha, unpleasantness. Happiness, unhappiness. 3rd is Rag. 4th is Dvesh. You will see wherever you have liked something, wherever you have had pleasant experience, you wanting to have the same experience again becomes an attachment for you, becomes a craving for you. Some experience of pleasantness and you want to have the same experience again becomes craving. Some unpleasant experience creating a kind of resistance to it. I don't want to experience it again. That becomes the aversion. So with the pleasantness, Rag is connected, craving is connected. With the unpleasantness, Dvesh is connected. Aversions are connected. So Sukha, Dukha, Raga, Dvesh. Look at your own life. Wherever you have had Rag, the craving, that Rag becomes a platform for you to have Dvesh. Resistance. You know, if you have Rag about cleanliness, as soon as somebody becomes that little instrument of creating uncleanly atmosphere, you start having dvesh with them, aversion to them. The intensity of rag creates intensity of dvesh too. The same intensity of dvesh. This is how they are connected. So sukh, dukh, rag, dvesh. The fifth experience of the soul experiencing soulness, jiva bhav, is the experience of sangat, they call it. You will see with some souls you feel connection and belongingness and sense of oneness, togetherness. With some others you don't feel that. Many times people stay under the same roof for such a long time without experiencing that oneness and belongingness. And with some others, first time you are meeting somebody and you feel connected. That connection is what Sangat is. And you will see it doesn't happen with everyone. It happens with some people, it doesn't happen with some others. That is the Sangat experience. Sukh, Dukh, Rag, Dvesh, Sangat. Sixth experience of soul experiencing soulness is Chetana. You will see every soul has its own unique flavor of consciousness. Somebody has this flavor of joy and naughtiness and fun and frolic and celebration in them, enthusiasm in them. Some others may have a completely opposite flavor. They may not be very funny and enthusiastic, but they are very sincere and still and dignified and almost serious. Some others may have a very loving and accommodating and very beautiful, very sweet flavor to them, whereas some others can have a very hard, harsh, almost like a warrior kind of a valor flavor to them. My point is, every soul in their own consciousness has different unique flavors to that consciousness. I am saying that uniqueness of flavors of consciousness is the sixth experience, the soul experiencing soulness. Once again, let me give you a list. Sukh, pleasantness. Dukh, unpleasantness. Rag, attachments and cravings and likings and all that. Dvesh, aversions and dislikings and resistances. Sangat, somewhere you have connection, somewhere you don't. Somewhere you feel belongingness with someone else you don't. The sixth one is Chetana, different flavors of consciousness. And then the seventh section of the soul experiencing soulness is called the Dhruti. Each individual soul has its own accumulation of power. Somebody is more powerful than someone else. That inner power is called Dhruti. We can go much deeper in that exploration. There are three types of Dhrutis. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives a detailed description of all this. If you really want to understand Dhruti, you must go through the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and you will find a very detailed explanation of it. My point is, very simple explanation of this Dhruti. I would say somebody is a 2 horsepower motor, somebody is a 5 horsepower motor. Whichever activity that motor gets attached to, because of that 2 horsepower or 5 horsepower strength, the power, the Shakti in it, it is able to do that much of work. Isn't it? Same way, if a very strong Dhruti person takes on some seva activity or satsang or sadhana, even worldly activity, they are able to put that much of power in that activity. Please understand, somebody who with a very strong Dhruti, if their direction of life goes towards Shadaripu, the Kama, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar, anger and lust and Lobh and greed and all that, they can create disasters for themselves and people around them. Whereas someone with a lesser Dhruti goes into that direction, they are very mild with every single activity that they do. They get angry mildly, they love also very mildly. Those with higher Dhrutis, they get aggressive intensely and they get loving also very, very intensely. My point is that inner Shakti is what Dhruti is. So, once again, let me come back to this. The first section of experiences of your own life is the Deha Bhav, where you, the soul, experiences as if you are the body consciousness. The second section of your experiences, it is called Jiva Bhav, where you, the soul, experiences your soulness, that you are the soul. And in that, these 7 experiences: Sukh, Dukh, Rag, Dvesh, Sangat, Chetana, and Dhriti. And then the third experience, the category of experiences, is the Atma Bhav, where, if you remember the analogy that we discussed on the second or the third video in this series, you will remember, if you consider this Brahman, this universe, to be the ocean of consciousness, in that ocean, made from the same consciousness, all these souls are existing. And we can call them waves. The Atma Bhav experience is when the wave, the soul, experiences, and I'm not saying it is just an idea or a concept, I'm saying it's an experience. Deep down you actually experience, oh, I am that infinite being. The wave experiences, oh, I am the ocean. If you have this experience, if you have had this experience before in your life, you will precisely know what I'm talking about. I'm saying it's a very, very mature level of experience that the soul gets when I am the universe. That experience dawns. In our scriptures, the learned Rishis have expressed it in a very beautiful way, in their own unique style. Somebody has called, I am the Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. Someone else has said, Satchidananda Rupoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am the incarnate Sat, Chit and Ananda, truth, consciousness and bliss. I am the Shiva, I am the infinite being. Someone else has said, Tattvamasi, you are also the same thing, you are also that. My Gurudev says, Soham, I am that infinite being. My point is, through these beautiful expressions, the same experience is expressed. When the soul experiences Atma Bhav, there are 5 different experiences unfold when the soul experiences that Atma Bhav, and these 5 experiences are Sat, Chit, Anand, Nitya, Paripurna. Sat, highest truth dawns. Chit, your consciousness is so vibrant and alive. Ananda, your consciousness fills up with bliss. Unabated, uncontaminated bliss. Nitya, you actually experience as if I am forever. Right now I am feeling like that. The Atma Bhav is invoked. And the 5th, Paripurna. Sat, Chit, Anand, Nitya Paripurna. Paripurna means I feel complete. Everything is one and whole and complete. That experience is the 5th experience of Atma Bhav. I remember when I learned this from Gurudev way back in 1997-98. Having heard this Brahma Gyan from him, I asked a question to him. I said, Gurudev, can we practice Atma Bhav? He said, you practice the identifying of Deha Bhav and Jiva Bhav and learning to drop them. What remains as a fruit is Atma Bhav. And then he said, the moments when you have had that experience of Atma Bhav, just remembrance of those moments of Atma Bhav will rekindle Atma Bhav in you. And since that moment till today, millions and millions of times, just by remembering the Atma Bhav, I have had the experience of that infinite being experience. And I invite you to practice that. Keep on recognizing your Deha Bhav and Jeev Bhav. Keep on learning to drop them and invoke Atma Bhav at will, on demand, whenever and wherever you want. I want that as many people as possible should have that inner skill of fine-tuning, tweaking of your intelligence to invoke Atma Bhav at will. You know, one very beautiful example will explain this better. If you are looking at a light bulb and you squeeze your eyes a little bit, you will see as if rays are coming out of the light bulb. The rays are actually not there, but as you squeeze your eyes a little bit, you see those rays coming out. You actually feel like that. I am saying exactly like that. If you learn to tweak your intelligence a little bit, you are able to experience Atma Bhav at will. Lots of love.